Where to begin? We had another week of such horrific events there in Saugus, and then in the paper today, I heard in the news yesterday and saw in the paper, 5 people killed one another, a suicide pact, I guess, in a family of father and sons or something. Crazy. How does this happen? Why does this happen? How does life get like this? In the Bible, the prophets used to tell the end of the story first, to give you a chance to come back to the present and say, maybe something has to change. So the prophets said things like this reading the gospel, the book of Revelation. We hear the prophets saying, the sky will fall, that comes from the sky, the stars will fall, we will be crushed and murdered and destroyed, your family will turn against you. And looking at the most catastrophic, horrible events possible. And then Jesus has the nerve to say, but not a hair on your head will be destroyed. What is he saying? Well, it's hard to try to gather this together briefly, but I'm going to do my very, very best. If you plant a tree under a ledge here that goes out to here, but you plant the tree here, what will it do when it hits the ledge? It will get bent and have to grow out this way. It will be deformed. And the prophets, Jesus, all spiritual leaders tell us the same. Parents that have a lot of values and virtues say the same. Good teachers say the same. Good religions say the same. They say it matters how you grow. It matters where you grow. It matters what is in your growth. It matters. John Donne said, it's one of his most famous sayings, and I will quote, he said, "No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main." No man is an island. I happened to read this morning the prayer of the church, we call it, the breviary, and in it, the Psalm 1, imagine this, we're at the 33rd Sunday of the year, the last Sunday before the last Sunday, because the last Sunday is always Christ the King. But as I said at most of the Masses last weekend, we always look at the end times at the end of the year, because the church wants us to be very sober about this. Christ will come back one day, and what will he find? If it were today, how would he find our spiritual life, our spiritual awareness? Would we be people of God or not? Would we be people of love or not? Christ will come again. Be sober, be aware, don't be stupid, it's coming. The end of the world will come one day. Who knows when? And if people say it's now, they must have said that during the Second World War. Oh my God, they must have said it. Every single thing that's in that gospel was happening then. Even family turning members against one another. What a time! And yet it wasn't the end of time. But the end of time will come. Don't be stupid. It will come. And then the end of our own individual lives will come. We all know that. Every single person here is a member of a family who has experienced either in their own family or their extended family or among their friends or someone on their block, someone coming to the end of their time, their death. That family in Long Beach, 5 of them. So, the reality is the end will come. So we look at these questions at the end of the church year, and then funny, the psalm that gets used is not the end of the Psalms 150 or even 100, but Psalm 1 is the psalm used in the office of readings today. The first psalm of the psalmody is read, and this is what it says. Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of mockers. Blessed is the man or woman who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked. That is, gather with wicked people and say, what are we going to do? How do we get back at them? How do we get ahead, and who cares who we hurt? They don't stand there, walk with them. Or do they stand around other sinners? We're all sinners, but you know what I mean. It's one thing to fall and get back up and say, I'm sorry. It's another thing to be filled with hate for years. That's a sinner's life. It's one thing to feel revenge for a moment, even a day, but to seek revenge for 20 years, that's a way of sin. That's a way of sin. That's a life of sin. Or sit in the seat of mockers. So I sit over here among these group, there's 7 or 8 of us, and we say, aren't they dumb people out there? Oh, look at that one over there, and look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, ha, ha, ha. No. If you do that, there's a consequence. You will be formed into a lousy person, or a person whose life gets lousy. You will. But the psalm goes on. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. How interesting. He meditates day and night on the law of the Lord. Other translations say they ponder the law of the Lord. So we heard that question of justice come up. God's justice. Do we ever ponder on God's justice and say, God, what do you think is just in this life? Is it just that there's 37 or 67,000 or whatever it is, people homeless, sleeping in tents on cement in the street, in the city? Is that your sense of justice? Or would you say, no, what I want is that you will care for each other? Are those people little islands? 37,000 or 67,000, whatever it is? Are they islands that are just supposed to make it on their own? Well, this week we saw the effects of it again. And you may say, I'm wrong, that's all right, everybody's right, has a right to their own opinion. But this young man, 16 years old, on his 16th birthday, goes to his high school with a gun, murders 2, shoots 3 others, is it? 4, whatever, and terrorizes the whole school and the whole community. All those churches over there are reacting to it today, even I am. So I see on the news this week that 233,000 children since 1999 Columnville High School in Colorado, 233,000 children have experienced this personally. Personally. So I want to say to all the children here, teenagers, our confirmation is here, forgive us. We've let you down. And I don't care. Don't you tell me, well, Father, I had nothing to do with it. Yes, we have let you down. You know what they said in the Nazi era? Not everybody was a Nazi. Not everybody hated the Jews. But most of the people didn't say or do anything about it because they were afraid. Most people did not speak up. Most people did not protect. Most people backed off. They, in a sense, didn't care because they didn't know how to care or what to do. Maybe I would have been the same. But the fact is, what a horror, the Nazi era, and most people remain silent. If you have guns in your house, God bless you. I guess we have a right by Constitution to bear arms. But by God, we must have a way to deal with it in a way that makes us more responsible. If you have a car, tell me if I'm wrong, doesn't every car have a vehicle code number on it? Is there a police officer in here? Well, okay, you don't have to identify yourself, but what happens if you get a car and you shave off that identification number and then sell that car? That car is a problem now. You don't drive a car without a license number attached to your name. Accountability. Accountability. You let yourself publicly be known. This is mine. I'm responsible for this. I have been trained to do this. And yet we know there are more guns than there are people in the United States. That's what they say. Well, this 16-year-old, now mind you, it's not just a gun issue. In fact, the deeper issue is no man is an island or woman. What happens when we get isolated from the pack? I've been doing a lot of thinking about this, and basically we're animals and we're not plants. Plants are good. We eat them. We need them. They give us oxygen. I love plants. Sing to them, especially Mozart. They love it. But we're not plants. We're animals. And animals need each other. They always thrive in packs. They run together. Something happens to any animal, including human animal, when they isolate, when they get cut off completely, especially if they are cut off because they feel they have been rejected or not included. And this is where our guilt can climb. I don't know anything about this kid, but this is my suspicion. He didn't wake up on his 16th birthday and just decide to kill people. Something been going on for a long time. I wonder how he was with his family. I wonder if he felt a part of them or not. A lot of kids don't, I wonder if he felt a part of his class. And of course, we can always go backward in time and say, well, maybe I should but what if there was 1 or 2 or 4 or 10 people that had mocked him the day before, made fun once again, or pushed him around or bullied him, and it was just too much? Wonder what effect that could have. I wonder how he was being formed, what ledge he was planted under to deform him. How long can people go on with pain and suffering, especially emotional, social? It's probably impossible to analyze it and get an answer, but I think I'm on at least the edge of truth, the edge. So, we don't care about gun laws. We still don't care. Let's face it, we don't care, although they say 95% of the Americans want something done. But we don't care. So I say, why should our youth believe in us? Why shouldn't they say, what have you done to help us, to protect us? Especially those 233,000 young people. Well, I'm not content with it. I don't think any of us should be. I don't quite know what to do with it. I didn't come to make us all uncomfortable, but I hope I am doing that. Because we should be very, very uncomfortable. We should not like what we're seeing. We should not like what our youth must feel. And we should not like if they're losing their trust and confidence in us. So part of all that I say here today is directed mostly at them. Because we have to own the reality, not just talk platitudes. Well, we should love one another. Come to church and hear how we should be kind. If we're not being so, we need to say it. And say, God, brother, sister, we're sorry. How do we get back on track? Now, personally, I think this is the reason for church. This is the reason for family. This is the reason for any kind of a community that cares. I step out on the ledge now, okay, realizing I'm on the ledge. It's a place we have to go sometimes. But I'm in a distinct and a special place. Many teachers that are here are in the same place. But I sit in the confessional in my office. I have people come to me who are not very well received in the community. Sometimes their own family, their church, their schools. And it's a particular group in the gay community. A child, a young person that believes that they may be gay or is beginning to experience that, and then feels judged by everyone. How is that ledge? Judged by everybody, not accepted unless you change and do it or be like this. What does that do? But I want to go to a smaller subset of that. I want to go to like transgendered, to people who feel they're not the same sex that they really are, physically or whatever. Whoa. Talk about people that don't feel they fit in anywhere. So what do? The healthy ones? They go to a community of others like them, and they accept one another. They love one another. I mean, we can judge behaviors, all kinds of things, but they love one another as persons. They never deny that that person is a child of God and my brother or sister. Because the moment that we do that, a person becomes isolated, cut off from everyone, and how are they to feel? What will they become? And ultimately, what will they do? Was that this young man's cry for help? I want to belong. I don't. Too bad. The scriptures today ask us to look. The themes in the scripture today are just horrific. The end of time. The heavens falling in and crushing us and killing us. Everywhere you look, disaster. Everywhere you look, disaster. So for that reason, more than ever do we need church. Today, in the lesson that our confirmation people have, it's all about church. It's about confirming their baptismal faith, their baptismal identity, their baptismal connection. It's about them hearing the church, us, say, you belong to us. We are your brothers and sisters. Join in with us. Let us not walk with the wicked and sinners, but let us sit and meditate and ponder on the law of God. What does it mean to be just in God's eyes? What does it mean to love in God's eyes? What does it mean to forgive self and others in God's eyes? We need church. We need a place where we can come and ponder together. What does it mean to be a good human being and a person with a healthy spirit, a person of peace? Confirmation class, I hope, and even if, I'm saying this in front of your parents, even if some of you are saying, I'm only here, Mom, because of you. I get it. But I'm telling you, look at your fellow youth of 16 years of age. Listen to those 233,000 children that have been affected by this kind of violence on their campus. Look, listen. Where do you want to be? How do you want to grow? What do you want to do with your life? You have a community here that says, join us, walk with us, pray with us, help us to be better, show us the way. But let us together become the people of God that He is calling us to be.